This lesson is on normal distribution, calculating percentage of samples. The word problem reads, 500 juniors at Spring Creek High School took the ACT last year. The scores were distributed normally, with a mean of 24 and a standard deviation of 4. What percentage of the scores are between 20 and 28? Okay, anytime we read a word problem, we always need to figure out what the question is asking and then the information that's given. So the first thing that I look for is a word that's going to let me know I'm talking about a question. So if you look in here, the word that I see is in this last sentence that says what. And then I want to know, what is it asking? So it's asking you what percentage of the scores are between 20 and 28. The next thing I need to do is find all the important information given in the word problem. I notice that it says there are 500 juniors. It says that they are distributed normally. There's a mean of 24 and a standard deviation of 4. Okay, so out of all this information that's given, the most important thing is normally distributed, or distributed normally. That's letting us know that we've got to use our normal distribution curve. So I want to draw my curve, and I know that for every normal distribution curve, the mean is in the center. So I want to write down my mean, which is the mean equals 24. Now remember that the calculator uses this symbol, X with a line over it, to let us know that that's the mean. So that's the symbol that I'm going to use. Okay, then it says that the standard deviation is 4. So I know that if I'm going to go below the mean, I need to subtract each standard deviation outward. If I want to go above the mean, I want to add by the standard deviation going upward. So the first one I'm going to start with is 1 standard deviation below. So I'm going to go -1 of the standard deviations. Now remember, this little symbol right here is what the calculator uses for standard deviation. So if I subtract one of them, I'm going to say 24 minus 4, which will give me 20. If I continue going out, I can keep subtracting from the where we're at. So if I want to subtract out 2, I've got -2 standard deviations. I'm going to subtract it out from this number here, 20 minus 4, which gives me 16. Or you could look at it, 24 minus 4 again, which would give me 16 here. Continue going one more time, and we would say -3 standard deviations, and that would be 16 minus 4, which would give me 12. Okay, now remember, you only need to go out 3 standard deviations because that is 99.7% of your data, so we don't need to go out another standard deviation. If we go above the mean, we want to add standard deviations. So I'm going to say +1 standard deviation and take the mean of 24 and add 4, which would give me 28. If I do it again to get the second standard deviation above, I'll say 28 plus 4, which would give me 32. And the last standard deviation above would be 3 standard deviations. 32 plus 4 would give me 36. So these are all the standard deviations. Now, they specifically ask you between 20 and 28. So I need to find my scores 20 to 28, which fall in my 1 standard deviation section. So the range here between 20 to 28 is it was within 1 standard deviation. Now if we know by our normal distribution curve, we know that this is 68% of all data. Okay, well when I say data, I mean the sample size. So it's saying 68% of your sample is going to fall between the ranges of 20 to 28. So the question is asking you what percentage of the scores, which would be 68%. So that would be our final answer, 68% of the data.